game of our doubleheader right here on TNT. It's game 2 of the best-of-7 series between the Dallas Mavericks and the New Orleans Hornets. There was nothing easy about the second half of Saturday night for Dallas as the Hornets dominated to come away with that victory in game 1. Lakers lead the series against Denver. Utah heads home up to nothing. San Antonio and Phoenix, game 2 of our doubleheader as we look forward to that. But right now, we have the McDonald's starting lineup. And for the Dallas Mavericks, Kidd, Stackhouse, Dampier, Josh Howard, and Dirk Nowitzki with 31 points in game 1. And for the New Orleans Hornets, it's Wes Stojakovic. Tyson Chandler had a double-double, 15 rebounds. Mo Peterson and CP3, Chris Paul. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Devlin alongside the coach, Mike Dunleavy. And, Coach, you look back to game 1, Chris Paul, 35 points, 10 assists. How do you handle it?
Well, the only place I'm happy with him is sitting next to Byron Scott. Otherwise, I don't know how you game plan him. I would put Jason Kidd down in the low post, try and get him in foul trouble, and sit him down if I can. If not, he's got to go 94 feet to score.
And then, of course, if you're the New Orleans Hornets, what do you do?
Well, New Orleans, they just have to get the jitters out. You know, the first game, they start off with Pages shooting 2 air balls and with West going 1 for 8. They did everything. They got great shots. They didn't make it. If they get off to a great start the way they played the rest of the game, they're golden.
How about the importance of game number 2?
Well, this is the game that I'm always telling my guys when we have the home court. Most fearful game for me. You get a first win, you get everybody in town telling you how great you are, you get a letdown, and that's where you usually falter.
You know, Byron Scott told us right before the game, he said Riles, meaning Pat Riley, said he always said game 2 was the most important. He's going to let his guys know that. All right, let's bring in the third member of our broadcast team, Pam Oliver. Pam?
Well, Matt, the Mavs are adamant about one thing. They want to take a decidedly different approach when it comes to Chris Paul. Avery Johnson wants his team to take off the gloves, get rough with the young fella. Johnson told me earlier today that he's never seen anything like it in his life. The way Dallas let Paul drive the basket uncontested, Johnson said, this is the playoffs. We've got to be more physical. When Paul is on defense, Johnson wants him challenged. He said, we've got to screen him, pick and roll him, post him. The Mavs clearly want to try to wear Paul down much better than they did in game 1. Matt?
All right, thank you so much. Hornets open up with the possession of the ball as Stojakovic drives, tapped in. Tyson Chandler on the offensive glass.
Number 1 offensive rebounder in the league.
And the other night with 15 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds. Josh Howard struggled. 4 of 16 from the field, 0 of 8 in the second half, and they go to him immediately to try to get him going.
Well, a good thing by Avery. You know, he's trying to get him comfortable, back in his regular rhythm, show him confidence, go to him on the first play.
Over the last 4 games, Josh Howard, including the regular season, Mike, 15 for his last 57.
Well, again, a good start for him to try and give him that confidence.
Gave it to West. Right at Dirk Nowitzki. Byron Scott telling us that he loves that challenge.
Well, I always love going at the other team's best player. I want to be aggressive, make him have to work both ends of the floor. If I can get him in foul trouble as a byproduct of that, all the better.
23 points, 8 rebounds in the first game, and Pam Oliver talking about getting a little bit of rough and getting a little physical here in the post. We've seen a little bit of that in the playoffs.
Well, playoffs means rough basketball. Anybody who goes to the rim, no team wants to give up uncontested layups.
Stackhouse coming back from a groin injury, his 3rd game back. Howard in the lane, one-handed runner, and the Wake Forest product delivers.
Well, he's such a talented player, and it's so important for them to have that added offensive threat on the floor.
All 4 of their points earned by Josh Howard. Howard in the first game had 17. Majority of those earned from the line as West misfires. Here's Kidd.
And Wellens did a nice job of holding their transition, push down.
Paul gets a piece of it.
You know, Paul leads the league in steals. He gets his hands on a lot of balls.
2.7. And a whistle and a foul as they go right at Dirk Nowitzki at the other end.
Well, every game, possession-wise, I mean, you got an all-star guy going against an all-star guy. So, you know, Byron, like we said earlier, he's going to try and sit Nowitzki down if it's possible.
Nowitzki heads to the free throw line, 10th in the NBA, 87%, average 7 attempts during the regular season, and in game 1 he was 12 of 13. Had 31 points with just 4 in the fourth quarter.
Well, again, that's when they loaded the defense up against him. Dallas has to do a better job of spacing the floor where Dirk can find guys for easy buckets instead of long jump shots.
A lot of jumpers in game 1 for the Dallas Mavericks. Here's West. He'll take a J. Shot doesn't go. Chandler on the offensive glass, and a loose ball foul.
You see, when a shot goes up, the first person on this floor you have to find is Tyson Chandler. He's the #1 offensive rebounding player in the league. So if you have a rotation where Dampier had to go out to the jump shot, you got a smaller guy on Chandler, and they got to do a better job of boxing him.
Nowitzki picked up a foul. Jason Kidd just picked up a foul. And that is his first. Chandler, as Byron Scott told us, has been outstanding in that development, partly because of Chris Paul.
Well, again, you see the pick and roll. They're trapping Paul in the pick and roll, and he's attacking the big immediately.
Tough shot for David West.
Yeah, he's being aggressive, but a couple of shots right now have been highly contested.
He struggled early in game number 1, getting off to a 1-for-8 start. David West. Paul dominated the second half. 10 of 15 from the field as he delivers it to West. Nice dish underneath and a whistle and a foul.
Well, again, the last pick and roll play, Dampier staying with the trap until Paul gives it up. He's not leaving once he stretches the defense. They're staying with him until he gives the basketball up. Now West catches the ball in a pretty good position, uses his dribble, then shoots a highly contested shot. I don't think Byron wants that shot in that situation.
Chandler now heads to the free throw line, just 59% from the line during the regular season, his first attempt of the series. Now you look at the first half discrepancy to the second half discrepancy, and I think it's very apparent when you look at the points in the paint. Second half, the Hornets won it in game 1, 22-2.
Well, the thing about it is Dallas was not able to push the ball. First of all, New Orleans was making shots, so they were having to take the ball out of the net as opposed to Jason Kidd rebounding and pushing, or then getting the ball out where they can get Dampier deep or one of their guys attacking the rim.
This is the Dallas team that has lost 7 consecutive playoff games on the road. Stackhouse denied by Chandler.
Oh, that's a great block, and that's something that he hasn't done as good a job as I would have expected.
And then running the floor with CP3.
Well, he has over 100 lob dunks on the year from CP3. Chandler does a great job of spraying the floor. He's got great hands above the rim, and he does a terrific job of finishing that off that pass.
Averaged a double-double during the regular season, had 10 and 15 in game 1. Nowitzki. Nice dish, big to big, and Dampier.
Well, right there, I would think, Byron, big on big, they'd want them just to switch that pick and roll. Instead, they stayed with it and didn't pressure him, and Dirk makes a nice play.
Avery Johnson saying that Dampier needs to be aggressive. Chandler, that spills out.
Well, that was bad weak side defense. He should have never got that close to the rim, and they were very fortunate he didn't finish that one.
Howard.
Again, Howard's being aggressive, which is, I think is good for Dallas' standpoint.
Mo Peterson knocks it down.
New Orleans wants to get out in transition. On these misses, they've got a group of guys. They spread the floor. They all shoot the ball well from the outside, off of Paul's penetration.
Here's Nowitzki.
Well, they're loading him up defensively right now, coming to him before he puts the ball on the floor. Nobody there to rotate out. Stack's got to make that shot.
You got to make him pay. Stackhouse wide open in the corner, 32% during the regular season for 3, and a foul as Chandler goes down hard, and the crowd reacts.
Well, Chandler's doing such a great job here today. Effort. Here comes first play. Oh, he gets a great block on Stackhouse to the rim. Then as he runs down the floor, a great pass by Chris Paul puts it right on the money for the dunk. And again, he's all over the floor right now. Loose balls, defensively, offensively, getting to the rim. He's having a terrific start to this game.
Dampier with his first. All the starters except for Gary Stackhouse have a foul.
Again, pick and roll. The big man gets split by Chris Paul.
Oh, so sweet.
I know one thing that didn't happen in the 3 days that between game 1 and now is none of those big guys got any quicker.
He slipped it on Saturday. He can slip it tonight.
He can slip anybody. This guy is terrific. Right here, Dirk steps out too far. He freezes him. Takes the next guy. Nice little sweet runner.
It's teardrop.
I expect them to throw the kitchen sink at us, to be honest with you. I think they tried to do a lot of things as far as trapping Chris, trying to get it out of his hands. I think we're going to see that again. Even probably some full court press, try to get it out of his hands. It's going to be interesting to see because we've pretty much seen everything, and Chris has seen everything. So if we just keep our discipline and focus on the offensive end, keep our spacing, then we're going to be in good shape.
They're in good shape right now as they lead by 5. We were talking about this earlier today, Mike, and you said when you see Chris Paul, he does an excellent job of attacking the big.
Well, the first thing you learn as a point guard when you grow up is attack the big versus any kind of double team.
Dampier, right out of the timeout, they lob it in from Kidd, and he delivers underneath.
You know, that's the one thing Jason Kidd has been so good at is finding Dampier easy buckets in transition and a play like that. He delivers deep where he can finish it off. Back the other end, they're going right back at Nowitzki with David West.
Paul into the corner. Peterson driving. Good.
Again, they respected his three-point shot. He showed him the ball and took him to the rim. If you're going to close out, you got to be under control or force some baseline when your big is there to help.
Hornets 6 of 11 to start. Stackhouse looks underneath.
Trying to get Dampier down low. He ran the same exact play. Didn't get the same result. He gets it deep. Ooh, that's a tough call. Oh no, he changed it. I thought he got hooked on the play. That Dampier hooked him, and at first looked like Joey was going to call the foul on David West, but then changed it. I thought it was a very good call.
And Dampier picks up his second, and he will leave. And Brandon Bass, the Baton Rouge native, checks in.
Well, now you know with a more mobile guy, you could see the Mavericks look to try and take the ball out of Chris Paul's hands in the backcourt because. You know, Bass is more athletic, can stay down in front of guys with the ball a little bit better.
Joey Crawford on the ball in his 31st year. David West knocks it down. Joey Crawford, Greg Willard, and Courtney Kirkland are 3 officials here in Game 2.
Great setup by Chris Paul. He went back and beat him before. He saw them jump out on the pick, and he doubled back on, and then made a nice play to West. And here goes Jason Kidd. This is I think they should explore this more.
Stackhouse left him wide open, and he drills the J.
And he did a nice job. He missed the 3 the last time. Let me move into 17 feet. Let me bang down something easy. And Bass stays with them pretty good. Rotation out to West.
West doubled underneath. Taken away from behind. Stackhouse to Nowitzki. Back to Stack. To Dirk running the floor.
They did a good job. They had a 4-on-1 break. It was a good double team down. Good rotation. Good double team down the post to David West. Forced the turnover.
3-point advantage for the Hornets. Paul can go anywhere he wants. West over Nowitzki.
Again, you know, Bass is very aggressive defensively, jumping down the pick and roll, but the guy on Chris Paul, you got to force him to go over that screen. You can't let him beat him back to the baseline side of it.
Yeah, the Hornets have now made 5 consecutive buckets at the other end of foul.
We're really going to go back down Chris Paul again, try and give him foul trouble or make him have to come double team. He gains ground. Here comes the defense, and they step in. Stackhouse to 17 feet, gets him a high percentage.
Stojakovic just picked up his first, and here's Howard at the free throw line. He was 8 of 9 in Game 1. He's made now 21 of his last 22 free throws.
These guys are the best free throw shooting team in the league, and they have been for years. They've been either, well, my Clipper team, 1-2 the last couple of years of field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and points scored.
You know, one of the things that Byron Scott told us, we have to keep them off of the line, and right now they're 3 of 4, and the Hornets 2 of 2.
And Dallas has switched their lineup a little bit. Kidd's now going to Stojakovic so that they can switch plays coming out. Again, Bass doing a good job staying with Paul so he gives the ball up. They're not going to let Paul make any shots.
And Bass gives you a little bit more quickness. Great job of using the window for
the thing about Chris Paul is his IQ is so great. He doesn't force the issue. You want to come double team me? I'm going to stretch you, bring you with me, and I'm going to create great open looks for all my teammates.
Nowitzki, it's a 3, and he's fouled. In the act.
I think Dirk took a flop there a little. I'm not sure how much contact there was there. right here. Chris comes out, and here comes the trap. They stretch it now. The defense is so stretched and scrambling back, and as they come out to it, Stojakovic gets a show and go and has a nice finish off the glass.
Nowitzki misses the first as the crowd reacts to the call. And he is back at the free throw line, and of course a lot is made about his non-reaction to the hand in the face from David West deep into the fourth quarter of game one.
I think that's very smart. He's made no comment on it. He just played. I mean, look, back in the day, if somebody gets you, hey, I'm not gonna go publicize that I might get you back. You just let it happen, the flow of a game, and if it's a series, maybe the next game or 2 games later.
And of course, Mark Cuban responds to the guys in the studio saying, hey, you got to retaliate. He said, if you retaliate now, you get suspended. And Avery Johnson saying, hey, he'd like to see his center, specifically his center, be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I think everybody would be watching damp on that.
Exactly.
We just saw Brandon Bass in the backcourt go double team CP and get the ball out of his hands. He advanced the ball, and they started to be aggressive to push and try and create an easy bucket.
Howard just picked up his second. And so Dampier with 2, and now Howard with 2, and Stojakovic heads to the free throw line. 14 points in the first game. Made 2 key threes down the stretch in the fourth quarter, and was the only Hornet to make a three-pointer in game 1, 4 of 8. And of course, he played just 13 games last year. He was injured, and you bring back him healthy. You have the development of Chris Paul alongside now at All-Star David West and Tyson Chandler, and you have a team that goes to franchise best 56 and 26.
Well, they had the third best three-point shooting team in the league, so they're going to stretch your defense. You got a guy like Chris Paul that does a great job of delivering it, and he makes you pay the price off of any mistake. Again, Jason Kidd has to be aggressive on the pick and roll. Chris Paul went under it. Kidd just took what was there, 17-foot jump shot.
First attempt.
Yeah, you see Chris Paul try to split that defense right there.
West.
He just does such a great job of making decisions and of trusting his teammates and delivering the basketball.
Jason Terry, Bass, Nowitzki, Eddie Jones, the veteran out of Temple, and Jason Kidd on the floor for Avery Johnson. Paul, Peters to the west, Stojakovic, and Chandler.
The other night, Byron Scott went right to Pargo to guard Jason Terry as soon as he came in the game.
Here's Jones, the 3 with 4 on the clock, no. Chandler gets it to Paul. 4-point advantage for the Hornets. Looking for Chandler.
Woo! What patience by Paul. Paul saw that he had 2 guys in front of him and 3 other guys on the floor. That counts to 5. Where's my open man? He dragged the ball left and waited for Tyson Chandler. The perfect timing and the perfect pass.
Great vision.
Well, we got to switch. Dirk's got to dive down into the paint against Chris Paul with him on him right now.
His steps up, shot doesn't go. West clears it to Chris Paul.
That was a missed opportunity by them. Dirk just cleared everybody out and dove him into the paint.
Paul already with 6 assists here in the first quarter. West wide open.
Oh my God, you cannot give David West those kinds of looks.
Timeout by Avery Johnson and his Mavericks. 9 straight for the New Orleans Hornets. 6-0 run.
Again, Tyson Chandler on the end of a great pass by Chris Paul.
8-point lead. It's time for Looking Good Today, presented by Dockers. Big for Chris Paul. Log on to TNT Overtime on NBA.com for more Dockers Looking Good performances.
Right here, you're seeing the wide open shot that David West is getting. If somebody doesn't rotate to him, he'll get 50 in this game.
David West to start 5 of 8. Chris Paul 7 assists, no turnovers, and in the 2 games, not even 5 quarters, 17 assists and 1 turnover, Coach.
Well, he's just been incredible. Great decision maker, end scorer, everything right now. He's doing it all.
Terry, off the dribble, gives it up, short corner, Nowitzki.
So again, nice job by Terry. Had a bigger guy on him, broke him down off the dribble, sucked the defense in, and made a nice pass to Dirk.
Terry just 8 points in game number 1. Nowitzki did his part, 31 points. So you look around him, other guys got to step up. Like Pages Stojakovic drilling the 3 for the Hornets.
Well, Bass is a little bit late there. His man set the down screen, got Page open, and he needs to get up and contest that shot.
6 points now for Stojakovic in 10 straight makes for the Hornets. It just keeps getting better. And Nowitzki delivers 4 in a row.
Well, Dallas ran a pick and roll. They switched the small onto Nowitzki, and he just took him right down into the paint and scored over him.
Here's Peterson at the 3. Tapped up and out. Off of Jason Kidd. It's going to be Hornets basketball. And, of course, following our game, Game 2, the Suns and Spurs. And what a thriller. Saturday in Game 1 between Phoenix and San Antonio. Tim Duncan, 40 points.
Well, that was an amazing game. One of the best games, first games you've seen in any playoff history, any playoff series ever. And more to follow.
Kevin Harlan, Doug Collins on the call.
Pargo did a great job on Terry. He just brought him in to guard him the rest of the way here.
In and out. Gennaro Pargo, West, Stojakovic, Hilton Armstrong, and Paul on the floor for the Hornets. Nowitzki with Hilton Armstrong, second year out of UConn. Double comes.
What's interesting now, though, is one of the guards from New Orleans has to guard Jerry Stackhouse. That's an opportunity to get him in the paint.
Oh, my! Paul to West.
This ball sets up more dunks than any guard in this league.
West now 6 of 9. Paul already with 8 assists, no turnovers.
Against Stackhouse in the low post against Chris Paul. Sets up that jumper by Terry, 3-pointer.
And Jason Terry delivers. Under a minute remaining here in the first quarter, and Chris Paul has been outstanding. Jumper, good.
Dirk cannot stand back that far. He can't be that soft on that pick. Paul just gets into 15 feet and buries it.
Playoff experience, I think he may have it now.
I've seen enough. I'm a believer. Again, Stackhouse.
Nice cut.
Oh, great shot block.
Armstrong. Pargo. Terry closes.
Armstrong's got a small on. Now Stackhouse guarding West.
See the differential game clock, shot clock. West backing down on Stackhouse. Double comes. Pargo for 3.
Again, great patience by the Hornets. You know, West knew he had the matchup. He took his time, backed it down, waited for the double team to come, created the wide open 3-point shot by Pargo.
Stackhouse got it. Big bucket here at the end of the first quarter for Dallas.
Yeah, that was a big answer for them.
Here's Paul. Yes! Chris Paul!
You know, it's 2 games in a row at the end of the first quarter where Paul has made big jumpers for them. And again, it was just 2 football plays. That one was a stop and go. He pump faked him, sucked the defense in, and threw it over his head. With 1.8 seconds on the clock, you've got to keep the ball in front of you. You can't let them throw the ball down the floor.
Chris Paul delivers once again in the series at the end of the quarter as he gets by Nowitzki.
Well, again, Chris Paul, he's got a great...
They're going to check it at the table. We'll count it now. Up 10 as we head to the second quarter. The Hornets on top.
Okay, Avery, your team down 10. What are some of the things you try to emphasize for the second quarter?
Too many easy baskets, too many lobs to Chandler. We let Paul out of our red, so we got to do a better job. It's a long game.
I know you have very specific goals when it comes to Chris Paul. How do you feel like you're living up to those?
Well, we're letting him out of the trap. We're not making him play defense, so we'll do it as the game goes on.
All right, thanks a lot, Avery. Back to you.
All right, that was just moments ago. Avery Johnson and our Pam Oliver. And you look at Chris Paul in the first quarter, Coach. 6 points, 8 assists, no turnovers, 2 rebounds, and 3 of 3 from the field.
Well, the thing that, to me, is just, again, decision-making by him. He's very confident in his teammates. If they're open, he can get them the ball. He can stretch the defense, make things happen.
Air ball for Stackhouse. That bucket was good. It's a 10-point advantage. 39 points for the Hornets. That's a franchise best in the playoffs for a quarter. 39 points, and Chris Paul seemingly a part of every single connection there.
I think you're right. Right now, offensively, Dallas is doing okay. 29 points in the quarter, shoot a high percentage, but defensively, they've got to find some kind of an answer. And the only one that they may find it is right now. He's sitting on the bench. You don't have to worry about him now.
Yeah, managing his minutes during the regular season, he averaged just under 38 minutes a game. Played 40 minutes in Game 1 as Armstrong is at the free throw line.
And you'll find this game that Byron Scott will give him a rest in the first half, but if need be, he'll play him a full 24 in the second half.
Bass, his first foul, and Armstrong scored just 1 point in Game 1 from the free throw line. Played in 6 minutes. An 11-point advantage now for the Hornets. And the second pops out, and Howard with a rebound.
Good scoop on the floor for Dallas right now. They got to gain some of this lead back.
How do they do it?
Well, first off is not putting the Mavericks on the free throw line. Not putting New Orleans on the free throw line. Make guys have to finish, and then now be more aggressive with Chris Paul out.
And settling for a jumper, and the shot doesn't go.
Exactly. Right now you got scorers on the floor. You got West, you got Bonzi Wells going to low post, Fargo from the three-point line, but you got a couple of guys that really aren't consistent, proven players out there in Wright and in Armstrong.
Malik Allen down low in the post. And a foul on the floor. Malik Allen didn't play in Game 1.
Again, Armstrong's doing a good job of getting real deep position where Dallas is having to foul him.
Just opening up the second quarter, Game 2 of a best-of-7 series. It was the first half for Dallas on Saturday night. Second half owned by the Hornets in a game as Fargo knocks down the favorite.
Well, two guys, New Orleans bench is the second lowest scoring bench league, 24 points a game. So two guys that can score off that bench are Fargo and Bonzi Wells.
You know a little bit about Bonzi, right? He can score.
Bonzi's great. He's like one of those fullbacks you can't tackle. You can't keep a body. He loves contact. He just rolls off you. He attacks the rim. He's very athletic.
We were talking to Byron Scott before the game, and you're saying he's like a fullback, and he's like, yeah, he's a tank. Shot clock.
The thing about Bonzi is that as a coach, you don't have to call a whole lot of plays from him. Throw in a couple of, he gets in the game, throw him a couple of post-ups, a couple of bones, keep him happy. Yeah. Then he hits the offensive boards, he slashes, he runs the floor, he finishes above the rim.
At 8 points, 5 rebounds off of the bench in Game 1. You know what he can do in the postseason. He's had some big ones, including with Sacramento a couple of seasons ago. Here's Wells, guarded by Stackhouse. Over Stackhouse. Shot doesn't go, and Bass.
I would have liked to see him take it off the dribble and stand and try and get to the rim on his first shot.
West, good job of helping. Here's Malik Allen, and the jumper doesn't fall, and Wells gets the rebound. Along with West, Wright, Armstrong, and Fargo. Here's David West. Shot doesn't fall for West. Tapped out. Terry into the front court quickly. Pass stolen by Wells.
Again, that's what he does very well. Reach passing lane and then into attack mode.
And foul by Malik Allen. And he'll head to the free throw line. 13-point advantage.
Bonzi did a good job of baiting Jason Terry that time. Jason Terry came down, Fargo shut him down, and he tried to make the cross-court pass, which is always going to be a dangerous thing.
Played in 22 games for the Hornets after being acquired by Houston. Parenting isn't easy, and watching TV's Funniest Family is. This June, the Bill Engvall Show is back. Catch all new episodes of this true family comedy. June 12th at 9 only on TBS. It's very funny. There is nobody better down low on the block fading than Bonzi Wells with that knuckleball shot he did.
Well, that I used to call him Knuckleball Smith. I mean, he gets on a roll and he makes shots from everywhere. But basically, that's what you want to start him out. You want to get him in the paint, get him easy bucket before he ventures outside.
Not a great free throw shooter, 66% for the Hornets.
Bass loves to drive left.
Backing down, double comes. Here's Howard, slicing through the lane. Bass. Bass showing his athleticism on the offensive glass.
Well, again, a bad closeout up top by New Orleans allowed Howard to get all the way to the rim.
Bass, a former Hornet, originally selected by the Hornets back in 2005 in the second round after leaving LSU early.
Strong double team. Bonzi Wells trying to looking to get out of it,
and he turns it over.
Well, again, they know his value, and so kids switched on him. They sent Big over along the baseline to double him up.
Kids back out on the floor. Howard, quick move.
3 seconds on Bass. Mavericks doing a good job of moving the basketball around, and Bass is trying to get rebounding position. He's got caught.
Timeout on the floor with 8:31 remaining here in the first half. Bass. Woo. Chris Paul, Mike, has been amazing in every way.
Well, short seconds on the clock. He's a dangerous football player. He runs the fly pattern in the first quarter of game one. Long pass down the sideline. Very tough jumper at the buzzer. Then moments ago tonight, he gives him the old stop and go. Takes it to half court, stuffs the defense in, throws a bounce pass up the floor to him, gets the 50 to rush at him, and scores over the top. What a player. Again, right, 1 foot inside, 3-point line, a great runner. What momentum plays going into a second quarter?
Everybody agrees Kobe Bryant. We've talked about it. Talked to Byron Scott about it, that Kobe Bryant's the best player in the NBA. But this season, I think Chris Paul is the MVP.
Well, the thing he has going for him in the balloting is that Kobe's got a better team around him. He took Kobe away. I think the Lakers still win more games than the Hornets.
Stojakovic looking for Wells, Armstrong.
Right now, Dallas came out in the zone. They're trying to figure out what to do with these lineups, and right now they figured, all right, let me take them out of their half-court set. Let me try and play them in a zone.
Since Paul has sat here early on in the second quarter, New Orleans has just 1 field goal. And I know, Kenny and Charles not hot on all those debut numbers. They're kind of giving EJ a little bit the business on that. Well, only 3 players in NBA history have scored 35 or more points in their playoff debut and have won the game. Wilt Chamberlain did it for the Philadelphia Warriors. Marco, shot doesn't go. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for Milwaukee back in 1970, and Gary Brokaw. Dane Gray played for Milwaukee back in 76.
Well, some pretty great names in that list. I think anybody would be happy to be associated with those guys.
42-33, Hornets on top. Stojakovic posting up on Kidd, backing him down, double comes, fades away from it. Shot doesn't fall, and Howard one and done for the Hornets.
The one thing about Jason is he's very strong down there in low post. He gets on big guys, keeps them backing down. Bonzi Wells, again, right place, right time. Does a great job of reading defense.
His second steal. Stojakovic, it leads to a 3 from the wing.
It's so important for momentum and plays. I mean, their defense, their steals. Bonzi picks this one off, and Page would rather run to the 3 than get a layup.
His second 3. Bass backing down. Howard in the lane, crowded in a foul. There's 7:05 remaining in the second.
Again, that was again close for Bonzi. He came down, he tried to strip. Well, again, right now, running the lane. Bonzi's waiting, looking for the 4th man coming into the play. Stojakovic wide open on the wing for that beautiful 3-point shot he has.
Page Stojakovic during the regular season, a career best 44%, 4th best in the NBA as Howard gets back to the free throw line, and he does an excellent job of doing that. Average 5 attempts during the regular season. And he is 3 of 3 tonight. Nowitzki, Dampier playing with 2 personal fouls. Howard, Kidd, and Terry on the floor for Avery Johnson. And some solid minutes from Brandon Bass.
Byron's getting some good time on the bench with Chris Paul. This group has done a good job of keeping that bay.
Chandler back out on the floor for the Hornets as Kidd knocks down the 2.
Again, he's mad at himself. He's done it a couple times in the series where he's had a toe jam. Instead of having a three-point shot that's wide open, he's only getting 2.
Wells up top, along with Pargo, Chandler, Stojakovic, and Wright. Deflected by Kidd.
Oh, Bonzi made a mistake there. He could get a chance to go get the ball. He's trying to let it get out of bounds, and Kidd out-hustled him for it.
Turnover by the Mavs. Stojakovic.
Nice job by Pargo, having patience, waiting for Stojakovic to get into the play.
Stojakovic already with 11, had 14 in game 1, 4 of 7 from the field. Nowitzki spins end line, and a foul on the floor as Joey Crawford blows the whistle. And here's Chris Paul back in the game.
Yeah, I mean it's almost 6 minutes on the bench. Got him a great rest. Dallas is good. Dallas is going to go at that matchup with Nowitzki in the post against Stojakovic every chance they get, isolation or post up. Again, Kidd's taking them over right now again. They're going to try and make a double team come. Create shots.
Stojakovic picks up his second. Shot clock down to 4.
Great hands again by Bonzi Wells to knock the ball away. Another block, but he fouled him prior to blocking the shot.
What did Byron Scott tell us? They don't want to send him to the free throw line. They're 6 of 9 here, and with the shot clock down to 2, a foul, and they get to the line.
Well, again, best free throw shooting team in the league, and in this case right here, another loose ball situation where Dallas able to pick it up.
Some great NBA playoffs, and of course they continue Wednesday on NBA TV. Philadelphia at Detroit, and on Friday, 3 games on the docket at ESPN and ESPN2, Detroit and Philly. The Hornets in Dallas, followed by San Antonio and Phoenix, and that's at 10:30 on ESPN, and Sunday on ABC, Game 4 abound.
This is Dallas' best scoring offense on the floor right now with Jason Terry and Jason Kidd at the guard spot.
Paul with Pargo. Chandler comes up. Pargo, it's a 3 over Terry. No. Offensive rebound, Chandler, and a second chance once again for the Hornets.
Long shots, long rebounds, and Chandler does a great job of collecting them.
Look at that.
Oh, no finish by Chandler, but what a great look off in the low post with Chandler wide open look.
At the other end, Chandler with a block. Kidd unable to deliver, gets it back. Well, with Dampier at the other end helping out, it left Chandler wide open underneath. And Paul with a great recognition, but Chandler unable to finish. 5:22 remaining here in the first half, and the defensive 3-second violation.
What I like so much about that last play was Chandler was able to come back and erase a mistake down the other end after missing an easy layup. Great play by him.
That's the coaching. It's time now for our Gatorade Around the Cooler report. We send it over to Pam Oliver. Pam?
Well, of course, New Orleans is home to Mavs coach Avery Johnson. He grew up here. He met and married his wife here. He's a big star at the local high school. It's called St. Aug. It's a big deal in these parts. Number of basketball championships he was able to produce with that team. But Avery, in the playoffs, is all business. He enjoys a little bit of the local fare, but that is about it. He is desperate to get his team refocused and redirected, but he loves to come home to New Orleans. Back to you.
And you can understand why he's done so much for the New Orleans community. And you have a little connection in college at Southern. He played for the great Ben Jove, and he was your assistant at South Carolina.
Yeah, he coached me for 4 years. Coach Joe was great, teaching the fast break, and he was just a great head coach, but great mentor as an assistant coach as well.
And certainly Avery Johnson fit his style perfectly at Southern as Nowitzki was at the line for the defensive 3-second violation at a 9-point game. Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, he also went to St. Aug. Nowitzki. This is Avery. Got actors too.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always trying to involve Dampier into the pick and rolls because they feel like he's the guy with the least amount of quickness that they can use to get DP open.
And the shot doesn't fall, a rarity for Paul. His first miss. Started 3 of 3, has 6 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists. Hit in traffic. Chandler redirects the shot. It's his third block.
I asked Brian Scott, why you didn't block more shots? That should have been sooner.
How about Pargo? After the speed from Paul.
Again, Paul just showed great patience to make that play.
Dampier at the other end.
Well, again, in transition, there's no weak side defense. They ran a quick pick and roll. Great roll by Dampier and off a great delivery.
Chris Paul in the 3 home games this season, 2 regular, 1 playoff, against Dallas has been tremendous, averaging 33 points, close to 6 rebounds, 11 assists. He has 4 total turnovers in those 3 games. Pargo, it's a three, and it's good.
Again, great ball movement. You know, again, Paul reading the defense, gives it over to Stojakovic. They rotate to the three-point shooter. He sends it up to Pargo, who buries it.
10 points off of the bench for Gennaro Pargo. Nowitzki.
Chandler was hugging his man on the weak side a little bit too much. He's got, they picked and roll in the wing. They trapped it, and he got Nowitzki on the roll. He's got to get there sooner. Pick that up.
Dallas, last 2 times down, being more aggressive, getting into the paint.
Well, kids are doing a good job of fighting through the picks. He knows how necessary that is. I mean, right here's a good example. Gets through it right here. Dampier does his job. Again, comes through it again, fights through it, gets some help from Nowitzki, contests, Chris Paul's shot right there.
Not an easy thing to do.
It's one of the least things I would, if you said pick anything you want to do here tonight, the last thing you want to do is start Chris Paul. You're going to be running to picks all night long. Chase this little quick guy around. Chance to make you look bad.
And he'll look good through all of it. 9 assists, no turnovers at the free throw line. Paul, his first is good on the season. Career best 85% from the free throw line.
You can say all you want about how quick he is and how great he shoots the ball, but his IQ is off the charts. His decision making is what makes him such a great player.
And he makes others better.
Everybody better. That's the key to, when you say somebody's a superstar, that's the first order of business right there. Who does he make on his team better? He makes every one of his guys better. Over 100 lob passes to Chandler. Okay, he finds Pages for 3s, Pargo for 3s, West for those little open 17, 18-foot jump shots.
West becomes an all-star. Chandler averages a double-double, career highs in rebounds. Perry connects on the 3.
Perry did a nice job. He faked the pass to the corner to slow the rotator out to him, and then steps back and buries the 3.
His second 3 of the game. Under 3 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. West. Here's Paul. It's a 3. No.
I don't think he handled that one cleanly on the pass out, but it was a great look.
Byron Scott telling us he's improved his 3-point shooting. Shot a career best 36%, 48% from the field. He takes it away there.
Doing what he does best, number 1 in the NBA in steals.
Pargo quickly in the corner. Stojakovic, Nowitzki flying at him, drills it.
The first thing is Stojakovic loves to shoot the ball going left. Takes him right, and he's got no place to go, but in the stands going right. Flew by him and took one dribble left and buried it.
How many times have you seen him do that? And a call at the other end in favor of the Mavs. And a 12-point game with 2:20 remaining in the second quarter.
Chris Paul does a great job right here. He gets his hands on the ball, goes after it, gets the steal, pushes it now. Oh, he loses a little bit, regains his balance, and then he takes that speed all the way down the floor and makes the great play.
Kid, a future Hall of Famer for certain, involved in a 7-player deal with New Jersey, sending him to Dallas. Devin Harris, a great young point guard, being sent the other way. It's kind of interesting when you get inside some of these numbers, Coach.
Well, the thing is, it may turn out to be a great trade, the Dallas Jason Kidd trade. But the reality is, what Harris did so well was guard the really quick point guard. And you see, when we're talking about a Chris Paul, a Steve Nash, Tony Parker, in this case right here, 3 points a game, 10% field goal percentage, differential assists. Parker's quickness made a difference in guarding all these really quick point guards.
Nowitzki, the first is good. Jason Kidd, who made his Dallas debut right here in New Orleans back on February 20th. He had 8 points, 6 turnovers. And it's interesting to note, Nowitzki, his numbers just
skyrocketed with the addition of Jason Kidd shooting 50% from the field, and then from downtown he was shooting better than 45% from beyond the arc.
Well, Kidd just does a great job of making decisions and reads and delivering the basketball.
Here's West over Nowitzki, good.
West does that better than anybody in the game. He shows the ball like he can shoot it, pulls it back, and is able to recalibrate and make the basket.
The three-time Atlantic 10 Player of the Year at Xavier, where he played for Skip Proctor. Chris Paul played for Chris Proctor at Wake Forest. Of course, that's a Skip. There's a season ago, and all that Wake Forest and their family had to go through. And I was talking to David West, and he said, every now and again, Chris and I reminisce about those process.
Well, that's such a tough thing when you get close to somebody and mean so much to you, and it's just so unexpected what happened.
Nowitzki at the line. All right, let's send it to Atlanta and Ernie Johnson. EJ, what do you have for us? All right, thanks so much. We look forward to that one. Chandler at the other end picks up his second. And a whistle and a foul here. Greg Willard with the call.
Well, they had a big-time mismatch in the low post. Somehow Jason Terry got switched on to David West. He threw the ball out, and then Parker did a smart thing. He reposted. Instead of shooting a long jumper, he reposted him right away. Dallas got to come send a double team to that quicker. Otherwise, they're going to get the result of an easy bucket or free throw.
West at the free throw line, and Ernie talking about Toronto and Orlando. We were there on Sunday for Dwight Howard's 2020 performance. He was sensational.
Well, their whole team started out on fire. 9 3-pointers in the first quarter, putting Toronto down by 20 points.
David West has met that all-star challenge with Nowitzki as he goes to the line, and 16 points here in the first half for David West. Had 23 in game one.
Again, they're trying to run this elbow ice for Nowitzki or pick and roll with Terry, trying to create that switch, to try and dive, either give Terry the ISO or dive Nowitzki.
Shot clock down, Howard no, David West with the rebound.
Chandler's on the run.
And Eddie Jones ties him up. Chris Paul.
Well, it was interesting. Paul was going so fast, I think he was out of control. Unfortunately, he shook Jones to where he had no balance. He couldn't stay in front of him and take the charge, so we had to tie him up.
And there's nothing malicious there. He's trying to just tie him up and hold him away.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got this guy. You got a runaway train coming at you, and you're not sure which direction he's going to go. And he did the right thing.
And Paul at the free throw line, good with the first. Paul already nearing the double-double with 10 assists here. A double-double. With 1:11 remaining in the first half, back-to-back double-doubles in his first two playoff games ever.
Well, again, he's going to continue to do that. I don't care what kind of experience you think he has or doesn't have. This guy, as you hear the MVP chant, he has that ability.
Bass, quick move to the rack.
It's the first time they let Bass drive left all night long, and he, having played here, they've been keeping him to his right successfully.
Byron Scott, a whistle and a foul on Eddie Jones. Byron Scott said after talking to everybody at halftime, he pulled Chris Paul to the side right before he went on the floor for the start of the second half in game one, and he said, hey, play like an MVP. Now's the time, and since that point on, he has 24 points in the second half of game one, and now 11 points here in the first half with 10 assists.
Well, again, first game, wanted to start out, wanted to explore and see how this game was going to be called, how it was going to be played. But once the team got behind and he knew he had to do something, he became very aggressive and delivered.
The new franchise high for points and a half in the postseason for the Hornets, 65 points. Record-breaking first quarter, and now first half for New Orleans. Pargo digs in, takes it away.
He got numbers coming if he waits. good patience by New Orleans.
6-second differential, game clock, shot clock.
Got a mismatch on the weak side with Stackhouse and West.
8th straight sellout here. They're on their feet. And a foul as West goes down on the block to go to work, and they'll head to the line.
Again, great recognition right there. You know, they took their time. They gave the ball to West. He took his time. He backed him down, got the position he wanted, and drew the foul.
First on Stackhouse, and West heads to the free throw line where he is 2 of 2.
Again, with the lineup they have on the floor right now, with Nowitzki being the center, Chandler having to match up with Nowitzki. Byron's going to change that matchup right now for the last possession. You know, David West is going to be guarded by some smaller player, and you're going to go right to that matchup.
Stojakovic, Chandler out. Checking in, Julian Wright and Hilton Armstrong. Julian Wright, a rookie out of Kansas. (14 of 18 are the Hornets from the free throw line, and West with 18 points in the first half.
Again, pick and roll with Nowitzki and Terry.
Stackhouse from the corner, no.
Again, Stackhouse has had a couple of wide open looks that have been set up, stone cold looks that he hasn't been able to deliver on. And Dallas, you know, defensively they got to get better, but they've got to knock down open jumpers if they want to have a chance in this game.
Let's send it over to Pam Oliver. Pam?
All right, here with Chris Paul. Terrific first half for you guys for the Hornets. Tell me some of the things, though, that you guys are probably not content with and want to do better.
We're really playing well right now on the defensive end. We got to limit some of their free throws. We're fouling a lot like in the first game, but we're defending and we're getting out in transition where we're at our best.
You sort of laughed at the idea Dallas wanted to see what you had on defense, try to wear you out a little bit. How's that working out?
I don't think I have any fouls yet, but it's all my teammates. You know, they really help me night in and night out, and that's what enables us to do what we're doing.
Doing a great job. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll have more coming up right after this.
Go. 1, 2, 3, defense. Come on, let's go. The name of the place is I like it like that. Come on. Let me show you where. Come on. Let me show you where. I want to show you.
The Hornets were showing everything in the first half as they lead by 16 as we get set for the start of the second half. Matt Dev alongside the coach Mike Dunleavy. And you know, at halftime, Kenny and Charles, they were disagreeing about how to handle that pick and roll. What are your thoughts?
The amazing thing is, I can't believe it, Kenny and Charles are both right.
Both? You're not picking sides here?
Wow, no. I mean, bottom line is, when they run the pick and roll up top, and Chris Paul, it's a fine line. He stretches your defense. If you stay with him and take it out of his hands, then he picks you apart before you get back on a rotation. If he gives it up too early, then he comes back and reattacks. So, you know, that first half, he just made every right decision. Attacked when it was there for him to score. He made the play back. He set West up with so many wide open 17, 18 footers. His bread and butter shot. And the guy's he's just been phenomenal.
12 points, 10 assists, 1 steal, no turnover. Absolutely tremendous in the first half as we take a look at our Chrysler game summary. And when you look at the field goal shooting percentage, 62%, and the turnovers and fast break points, 17-4 in favor of the Hornets. As we send it over to Pam Oliver. Pam?
Well, Matt, there was no panic in Avery Johnson's voice when I spoke with him. He did say the game is too fast for us. We need to slow it down. He said we can afford to move the ball better. And, of course, trapping Chris Paul came up again. He said when we do trap him, we need to trap him better. Don't let him flip the trap, and if he goes around it, that's okay.
Well, you got to set the tone here. Score points in the paint, slow the game down, get to the free throw line where they're the best in the league.
Thank you very much, Pam. And also free throw shooting. Hornets +2 in the first half. They were -12 in game 1. Second chance. Here's Nowitzki to begin the third quarter.
Howard did a great job of moving the basketball out of the double team and finding Dirk for a 16-footer.
Nowitzki, 5 of 8, 8 of 10 from the free throw line, has 18 points.
Again, bread and butter, right back to the pick and roll.
They're going to count it.
I think he's calling a foul.
Yep, they're going to call a foul.
It started a different lineup here the second half. It's carried offensively to put more pressure on New Orleans. And they're playing with a bigger guy, Howard, on Paul, so they can switch some of the pick and roll.
Now Jason Terry to start the third quarter. Kidd, Nowitzki, Dampier and Howard, Peterson, Stojakovic, Chandler West, and Paul at the free throw line for the Hornets. And Chris Paul, perfect from the stripe tonight, 8 of 8. And the lead back up to 16.
Again, Terry on the floor to try and produce more offense in the pick and roll against Mo Feet.
In the last 2 halves, the Hornets have scored 131 points in this series. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Kidd. Cut off by Chandler. Shot doesn't go, and Chandler with a rebound.
Another shot block by Chandler. Oh, a great move by Paul. What a finish. An inside-out crossover move.
Chris Paul, 16 points, 10 assists.
Tyson Chandler's defense in the paint has been a story here, I think. He's a race with block shots and altered shots.
3 block shots in the first half, and Nowitzki plus the foul. He'll head to the line.
Last time down, Jason explores, he takes them under. Now he gets him stopped, gets his fingertip on the ball, but then retains the ball and creates the fast break by getting the quick outlet pass out.
Nowitzki back to the stripe. Before the game, talking to Byron Scott, you guys were talking about Chandler and defensively what he's able to do, blocking shots. Although West leads his team, obviously both of you see a young man that can get even better.
Well, he's got great ability to do it. I was wondering why he hadn't done it more on the season, because he's a great offensive rebounder. He's got great timing. He reads situations.
West continues to deliver back-to-back 20-plus point performances.
Again, Terry was on him at the top, and he just took his time and backed him down and shot over before his double team could get to him.
8 of 12. Nowitzki gives it up. Terry sends it to Kidd. Back to Terry. In the corner, this is the three, and it doesn't go.
Well, good decision on a rotation. Do I rotate up of Howard in the corner to Terry a three-point shooter and let Howard shoot it? Much more three-point shooter.
Here's a three. And Dampier clears it right around West with the elbow. And West bet back.
Again, the defense is sagging in, protecting off of Jason Kidd, left him open on the perimeter.
The double comes, and Nowitzki's going to head back to the line.
Well, Dirk loves that ISO on the elbow. He drives it baseline and then comes back. Double team's going to come from a little bit late. He's always going to spin back. Once he gets it, comes through, steps through, gets fouled. Again, putting the Mavericks on the free throw line was the number one objective. Talking to Byron Scott, but he wanted to change.
Double technicals have been called. Peterson got the personal foul, and it was David West and Eric Dampier. And I think that had a lot to do with at the other end when Dampier got the rebound and he went to clear it. He grazed underneath the chin, or so it appeared, of David West. And
I think in one of those opportunities. Talking about last game when that happened with Nowitzki. Oh, let me see. That's the guy that put a finger in Nowitzki's face. Maybe I'll have a chance to.
And you have a little bit of a different feeling on how to go about those sort of things. That you don't necessarily want to be quick to respond.
I don't think you want to advertise.
A lot of advertising in the playoffs right now. Everybody's advertising.
They've been saying a lot about what they're going to do.
When you were playing, it was done, but they didn't advertise it, right?
I mean, you want to do the crime, but not the time.
He's been doing that all the time tonight.
This guy, the game comes so slow to him. I mean, he just sees everything happen in slow motion, great finisher, and just a guy that, I mean, you just rate every play he makes the right decision.
So special, 18 points, 10 assists. 56 double-doubles. He misses his first free throw, which was a franchise record during the regular season. And Joey Crawford stops the action.
Well, Mavericks got out into a fast break off in his free throw. Guys ran the sidelines. They had to be picked up. Dampier did a good job of running the floor, and he was trying to get to that deep position. Chandler's trying to do his work early before Kidd could deliver the basketball and picked up the foul.
And Chandler just picked up his third. He has 8 points and 6 rebounds. 20 minutes of work.
We go back to his pick and roll and back pick on Nowitzki.
75-58.
Kidd was trying to get that fourth foul on Chandler in the paint.
Here's Dampier, and Chandler tears it down. Yeah, great recognition by Kidd to try to...
Yeah, he knew he picked up his third. Hey, I like to get this guy every game.
At the other end.
Oh, that's the one. It just wasn't there. He just should have gathered it and taken the layup.
Nowitzki throws it away and a turnover.
That was a tough one. Dirk threw the ball to the spot Terry was in, and when Dirk put his head down and just threw a blind pass out there, Terry had moved to the corner.
And Paul going at Jason Kidd, and Kidd picks up the foul, and that is his third.
Well, again, Paul up top in the pick and roll is so hard to cover. Jason's doing all he can to try and fight over the screen. Now they're trying to take Jason off, and they're trying not to expose him to that fourth foul.
Devin George. Bigger, longer.
I think exactly. I think Avery's thinking bigger, longer, try and take away some of the passes once he picks up his dribble.
Shot clock down to 3. West trying to create. Gives it up to Stojakovic, who delivers at the buzzer.
Well, if you got the clock running down, it's a good guy to put the ball in the hands of. You got that quick release.
77-58. Devin George pops out.
Devin just came in the game when right to the three-point line. I would have stepped in at 17 feet trying to get a better look.
Here we go again. Stojakovic, the largest lead for the Hornets. Let's take a look from our X-View camera presented by BMW's X6, a coupe above.
Well, right here, Page, a short clock, gets in his hands, quick release, then coming down off that transition, goes to his favorite spot on the floor, buries the three.
7-0 run by the Hornets. Stojakovic, 4 of 5 from downtown. And Stojakovic with 19 points. West leads the way with 20. And Chris Paul with 18 and 11.
Some of these guys, on the starting groups, they got to give Nowitzki some help here. Again, they're going to Jason Kidd now into the post against Paul. And double team comes, creates a wide open dunk.
Devin George with the slam. Nowitzki has 23. Josh Howard with 10, but all of that came so early in this game.
Yeah, Josh got up to a good start, man. A couple of buckets. But, haven't heard a lot from him since.
West, Paul, Chandler, Stojakovic, and Peterson. George, Terry, Nowitzki, Kidd, and Bass back on the floor for the Mavericks. Peterson drills the three, and
lights out, baby. You know what that means, Coach. Peterson makes the three-pointer on the year. These guys are 40, 3, and 13.
It's now a 23-point advantage. They're largest. So would you open up every game with a running a play from
OT? So we can go home. We always go to an early dinner. Again, now, consecutive times down the floor where Jason Kidd has gone down to the low post on Paul. Paul takes it personally and puts a quick foul on Kidd down there. Going back a third time now. Swimming that triangle between Terry and Nowitzki. See what they do. Now, the one thing about Jason Kidd in the low post is that he's a passer. He's got to show his ability to score down there some. Byron Scott had Jason Kidd in New Jersey. He knows he wants to pass down there.
Rare turnover by Paul. Pass the other way. Chandler commits the foul. 10-2 run over the last 2:57. This is a Dallas team that hasn't won on the road in the playoffs since Game 6 at Phoenix, and that was to clinch the Western Conference Finals. 102-93, of course, to head into the NBA Finals, where they led 2-0 over the Miami Heat back in 2006, and since that time, they are 2-9 in the playoffs in the first-round exit last season for Mark Cuban and his man.
You know, down 22 right now, it's about finding out what you can and can't do for the future potentially with these guys. And, you know, I mean, you see last week...
The future meaning game 3?
No, game 3.
I mean, how far ahead you looking?
Right. One more game. I mean, not that this one's over. But, you know, go to kick 3 times in a row.
Peterson, the other corner.
Again, best offensive group on the floor. See what they're going to do. They're going to test it out. Kid right down the post. Let's see what happens with Chris Paul.
And a foul underneath as Kid was looking for Bass. Mavericks at home 34-7, and they are so good at home. Following our game, stay on with TNT for Game 2 of our NBA playoff doubleheader from San Antonio. The Suns take on the Spurs to lead the series 1-0. Kevin Harlan, Doug Collins will have the call. Bass heads to the free throw line, and Chandler just picked up his 5th.
Well, again, you know, Byron did such a good job of trying to manage fouls in that first game. So Rakovic had 3 fouls early in the first quarter. He had 4 fouls early in that third quarter. He managed them. He got time out of those guys. He was able to do that. You know, he got burned here a little bit with him picking up his 5th. But, you know, with the lead, he's got plenty of time to rest him there and stay, you know, in a position where he feels like he's okay.
Hilton Armstrong in for Chandler with those 5 personal fouls. West up top. Under 6 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. This entire game has been dominant by the Hornets. Looks like the second half has continued from Game 1.
A nice lift from Mo Peterson. You know, 3 buckets here in the quarter, including that 3-pointer from the corner.
Nowitzki, here's Bass. Quick move. Woo! Brandon Bass.
Well, no, Bass got a little something to prove here. You know, having been here, they let him go, and now he wants to come back and make them pay the price.
Hornets lightening up here in the third, 80%. Bass over the last 6 regular season games, that pass picked off by Kidd, averaged 12 points and 5 rebounds. Kevin to George, shot doesn't go. Paul tries to track it down, but last touch by Bass. Peterson has the last 8 for the Hornets, so you may want to look out for number 9.
Well, when he gives him that added punch right now, that's a little bit extra pressure for that. Another scorer, another shooter to stretch off the pick and roll. He's going to run pick and roll with Armstrong at the top.
Shot clock down to 5. Here's West backing down with 3 on the clock. Delivers in the post. Nice back down.
He's got such a great game. He can go pick and roll and get you outside, or he can back you down into the paint and finish.
Nowitzki goes strong, and it's charged.
So, you know, Joey Crawford took his time to make sure he got the call right, whether he was inside the charge circle or outside it. Looked for some help from one of his other officials and got the right call.
The second on Nowitzki. It's 90-66. This is the Hornets team at home 30-11. On the road, they were 26-15. Game 3 will be at Dallas. West, no. Nowitzki is there.
Good help by Bass on the weak side to come challenge that shot.
What a performance thus far by the Hornets, shooting 65%. Kidd.
Pick and roll. They just went under the 6, dared Jason to shoot the ball.
And it's Trout.
Dirk was looking for Bass to dive to the basket, and he didn't do it.
Paul getting sloppy. And a foul's going to
Well, he's upset with himself right now because he had a wide open guy in the corner, and he was trying to look him off a little bit before he threw the pass and lost the ball.
He just picked up his third, and you see the point guard comparison there. And Chris Paul, his court awareness is something that you think he was born with? How do you get that? I mean, he's got it.
Well, it's studying the game, it's playing. He's played the position his whole life, and along the way, he's had some good mentors. He comes in and he does this as well as anybody. They run that pick and roll. They put Stojakovic in the right corner. They have Chandler set the pick and roll into the rim for a lob dunk. Peterson out in the other wing, and then West floating that baseline where he's deadly on the 17-footers. Invariably, Paul comes off and just makes the right decision every time. And if you stay at home with everybody else, he scores.
George from the free throw line, 1 of 2. Paul picked up his third. He actually had 3 turnovers in the last 3.5 minutes. Stojakovic up high. Stojakovic and George had met before in a different series and a different time.
That was good defense by George right there. He knew Stojakovic pretty well in that move. Payton's going to come back to that right shoulder.
Kings and Lakers.
Again, Bass becomes the go-to guy in the box right now.
Here's Bass over West.
West gave him some space. He did a couple of layups and a couple of nice plays. Got a little more confidence right now.
And deflected. Brandon Bass, 22 years of age. In his first year in Dallas. 12 points. 6 rebounds.
I'm sure New Orleans was a little disappointed that they let him get away.
Signed as a free agent on July 26th last year with Dallas. Shot clock under 10. Here's Paul with the ball in the corner. Peterson, no. And Bass, his 7th rebound.
It was a good find, a wide open shot from O'Pete.
Nothing has gone right for Dallas since the first half of Game 1. And Bass has been the only one that has delivered, and you see his emotions boiling through there, trying to get everybody going. And when we return, he'll be at the free throw line. Game 2, owned by the Hornets. Around and talk, they look at players and say, well, who does he remind you of? Well, who does Chris Paul remind you of? We're going to take you way back.
Right. Well, most people right now talk about Isaiah Thomas. He plays like Isaiah, but here comes another Hall of Famer, Lenny Wilkins, with a nice little sweet runner with the left. Paul goes down the middle, a little runner himself. And then, the split the defense, split the trap, dish to his man underneath for a nice dunk. And Paul does the same thing. A little bit of Pete Mavericks on that pass. And nice finish by West.
All right, you've seen them both. What do you think?
I've seen a lot more of Paul. I got to talk to you. I saw Lenny. Lenny was a great player, former Brooklynite.
Yeah. Went to Boys High School and, of course, down to Providence College. A Hall of Famer as a player and coach. Started his career in 1960 with the St. Louis Hawks. Seattle, Cleveland, and Portland. Before becoming a Hall of Fame coach. Armstrong, nice spin move.
Oh, that was a big bucket. That was a very big bucket by him.
We talked to Byron Scott about that, and he brought up Isaiah Thomas as well. He said when he first met him, he said everything about him, that on the court, he was that sort of dynamic presence. Here's Stojakovic out in transition. He loves that.
He doesn't want the layup. He was out in front of the 3-on-2. Ran straight to the three-point line.
5 of 6 from downtown. Pages Stojakovic. Hornets blowing out the Mavericks.
The Mavericks go-to play with Terry. Pick and roll. They're coming out to get their trap.
Bass. Here's Devin George. Malik Allen on the floor. Terry. And Antoine Ryder came over in a 7-player deal with Kidd from New Jersey. And you know Dallas is going to be a different team, or you would think at least, as Paul delivers on Friday night at home for game number 3 of this series.
I mean, it's just not easy when he's playing pick and roll. He's got Malik Allen, he's got Devin George trying to beat those guys. I mean, to try and freeze them at 17 feet and make those jump shots.
Stojakovic tonight, 22 points. West has 22. And how about Paul in back-to-back games delivering 20-plus points? He had 35 in game 1. And better than 10 assists. Tonight he has 13 assists and 5 rebounds. And still a quarter to go.
Yeah, I really don't think that's special. I think he can do that every
game. Every night.
He makes you a believer.
Yeah.
He makes you a believer.
Now
Second guy in the league in double-doubles behind Dwight Howard. I think he had 56 on the year.
56, which was a franchise record. Led the NBA in assists. Led him. And he is first player in 15 years to average 20-plus points and 10-plus assists. 6th time in NBA history that was done, to join Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Tim Hardaway, and Tiny Archibald.
They're not bad company.
Big-time company. Here's Paul. Thought about it. Still holds on to it. Wants a timeout. Gets a timeout.
I thought he was going to shoot it from his feet, from his feet.
Yeah, why not? Everything else is going. Team shooting 64% from the field, and Paul 6 of 9. 3 game threes on the docket for ESPN and ESPN2. Detroit and the Sixers, Hornets and Dallas, San Antonio and Phoenix, and then on Sunday ABC as game 4. Chris Paul, shot clock down, doesn't go, tapped out. This is a critical game for you. You talked about it, Byron Scott talked about it, Avery Johnson talked about it, and a foul is called. Coach, it's 97-74. You're on the Dallas sideline. What do you say now as you have 28 seconds remaining in the third and you head to the fourth quarter?
Well, you're thinking it's going to be hard to come back, first of all, right? So you got to start looking towards game 3. You got to start experimenting with some things. Okay, what are some matchups that I'd like to look at right now? Is there anything that I'm thinking that I can explore for future use? I mean, one thing we saw later in the third quarter was them posting up kids 3 or 4 times in a row, with with some good success. Got a foul on Chris Paul. They got a couple of scores down there. And the only thing I think they need to see down there with Jason Kidd is for him to be aggressive to score the ball. If he can mix in scoring down there with passing out of the low post, I think they have something they could maybe hang their hat on.
Dallas 17-24 on the road this season. Last time they were under 500 on the road. They lost to Sacramento in the first round of the playoffs back in 2004. But they love playing at home.
The other thing they're doing right here is going to give Wright a chance to see what he does with Chris Paul. Another athletic guy with more length.
Underneath. And the foul. And Armstrong will go to the line.
Again, Chris Paul with the great decision. Okay, he froze the defenders and he advanced the ball. And when he advanced the ball, that allowed the weak side dive, by Hilton Armstrong. And it was a nice fake and finish. He advances the ball, puts the defender behind the play. Great diagonal pass right at the rim, and a nice finish by Armstrong.
And Armstrong at the free throw line. It's 99-76. And the Hornets unable to get to the century mark. Game 2, Suns and Spurs at the buzzer. Terry. Third quarter comes to a close. It's a 20-point game as we go to the fourth quarter in Game 2 of our best-of-7 series between the Hornets and the Mavericks. And the Hornets have been that strong. Nowitzki has been all the offense along with the pass for Dallas. A frustrating night for Avery Johnson. All smiles for West and the Hornets. Getting set for the start of the fourth quarter, and the Hornets up 99-79. Second game of the best of 7 here in the first round of the playoffs in the Western Conference. And David West, running one-hander, doesn't go. And Jerry Stackhouse, and he knocks it down.
It's important right here for the Mavericks to try and make a run, at least to scare the Hornets. If you can, in the first 3 or 4 minutes, if you can knock this lead down, you can shake them. They haven't had a lot of experience, and maybe that's what you have a shot at.
Fargo and West, along with Armstrong, Bonzi, Wells, and Paul on the floor. And Bonzi Wells in the act, and he is fouled. You look at the numbers, and what really pops out, Josh Howard and Jason Kidd are combined 5 of 18, and Avery Johnson said, listen, we're not going to win many games if Josh Howard goes 4 of 16. Well, in this game, he's 3 of 10. And Jason Kidd is 2 of 8.
No, they're starters. Between Stackhouse, Kidd, and Howard, they got to do more for them. Obviously, they get good production out of Terry at a bass tonight in the game.
Shot clock down. Paul air ball. Again, Stackhouse.
New Orleans starting to settle a little bit here. Bonzi takes a long outside shot. Paul takes a longer outside shot than he had to any other point during the game.
How do you deal with that as a head coach? You're up big. It's game 2. You head into the fourth quarter.
Byron Scott's have to take a quick time out here and get in their bus. Right now, they put him at the free throw line. The worst thing you can do is get the clock stopped and let the opponent score points. And they're already the best free throw shooting team in the league. They got 25 free throws made on the night, something that Byron did not want to have happen.
You look at tonight, and how about this? 63%. And it's just a turnover ratio, 24-7, points in the paint, +8.
Well, the more and the biggest one is fast break points, the +17.
Yeah.
But right now, Dallas is slowing the tempo of this game down, and if they can get this thing back under 10 with 6 or 7 minutes left to go, all of a sudden you can have a little bit of panic set in.
Well, it's 7-0 run. Shot clock down to 6. Fargo gives it to West. West double comes, loses the handle, and last touch by Howard is going to be New Orleans ball. 2 seconds left on the clock.
Again, quick shot. You got to look for Fargo, coming off the screen. West popping out. They're in trouble right now.
Armstrong, shot clock violation. For the Hornets, over the last 2:23, they've made just 1 field goal, and that run, a 7-0 run over the last 135.
Well,
game
Mavericks,
clock
yes,
is moving around a little bit, and you see the stoppage of play, and they get that corrected.
The Mavericks can go, they're going to go here back to their pick and roll play. Try and get, Bass into an isolation situation, and then multiple pick and rolls. Again, trying to get him down to that low post where he's been pretty effective.
And a turnover. Can't have those.
Well, they hit, New Orleans did a nice job. They hit him with a good hard trap, and he threw the ball out to the weak side because he didn't have anybody in vision.
Statistician Brian Taylor, quick hands, good hands over there.
Have to sign him up.
Maybe. Paul, saving. Tough shot, and it goes.
Enough of those long shots. Let me get back to where I finished best.
That ends a drought. When they hit 100 points, they're 42-3. That was during the regular season. They did it in game 1.
Lawler's law.
Yeah.
First one to 100.
Josh Howard, as he delivered it. And a foul.
Yeah, if you're Dirk Nowitzki in this, you're saying, uh-oh, I got problems.
You're backpedaling, 7-footer, and you got Chris Paul on the drive.
Then again, he's not the Lone Ranger. There's not very many guys who can guard that.
Terry delivers. Well, tonight he's been like the Lone Ranger for them. He has 23 points, although Bass has a career playoff best, 19 points in only his second playoff game, and you look at his season high, he had 21 points. Still just too shy of that. Here's West.
One of the things that Dallas may learn from this is, they may decide that they play small with Nowitzki on Chandler and play Bass against West, where you're always attacking those guys, putting them at risk, get them in foul trouble.
Terry probing. Remember last year in the first round against Golden State, trying to handle that speed. They did a lot of that, playing smaller. Dampier didn't play many minutes.
Well, last year against Golden State, they made that decision to play that matchup. By not playing their guys the next to last game of the year. They decided they wanted that. Why, I still can't figure it out. But in this case...
that affects other teams sometimes.
Yeah, they may have affected my team a little bit. Great move by Nowitzki. Weak side couldn't get over there and take the charge soon enough. But right now, again, Dallas' hope is you got to try and get it back to the free throw line with the clock stopped.
And Nowitzki misses the free throws, 11 of 14 now from the free throw line. 29 years of age, turned 30 June 19th, and his 10th year. 103-86 with under 9 minutes remaining here in game number 2. And I don't, when you think back after game 1, as Paul delivers again, 24 points. I don't know if people expected this sort of game, 105-86, and an offensive foul on Jerry Stackhouse.
Well, look, right now, in the pick and rolls, Dirk has struggled all night long. They put him in those pick and rolls. And he's backed up. He's trying to play it soft. And Paul has just attacked him and finished every time.
Timeout on the floor with 8:43 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Frustrating night for Dirk Nowitzki. Chris Paul, another spectacular performance. Paul looks underneath. Bonzi Wells. Kick out. Here's Pongo. It's a three. And on the weak side, Kidd handles it. Kidd runs the floor. Nowitzki. The three. Got it.
And that's what Kidd does so well. He finds Nowitzki loves that three-pointer in transition. Loves to run into that shot.
16-point game. 27 points for Nowitzki. Paul. Kidd trying to track him down and can't. Paul, 26 points.
Again, Dirk struggles. He's got that ankle issue, and trying now to contain him is just a nightmare.
Stackhouse. 107-89. Chris Paul, 26 points, 13 assists tonight. Welcome back, those watching on TNT. Chris Paul, 26 points, 13 assists, 107-91. Dallas had a 7-0 run, but the Hornets have responded. And a foul. Nowitzki can't believe it.
Well, he had a pretty good box out going right there on the shot, and they could have a chance to get out into the open court. And I think weak side official called Dirk for holding the short.
And in fact, they ended up giving it to Bass, who's having a sensational game. Outside of Nowitzki, he's the only one that's delivered. 19 points and 8 rebounds. A rare miss from beyond the arc, where the Hornets are 9 of 17 for the game. Nowitzki loses the handle. Watch out. Here's Paul. Stackhouse. And a foul.
That was nice by West to give up the play, but I think he could have gotten in there for a dunk and not exposed Paul to that foul.
And while we were checking in on the Orlando-Toronto game, this is what happened. Dallas scored on 9 of their last 11 possessions. The Hornets 4 of 9, and Nowitzki 4 points in the fourth, and the chance ring out.
Much deserved, and he's backing up again here tonight.
Manu Ginobili, 6th man of the year, and today Kevin Garnett, Defensive Player of the Year. The votes are already in. It'll be interesting to see as the Baton Rouge native Brandon Bass leads with 19 points and 8 rebounds, and Paul 27 points, 13 assists. 9 points in this quarter for the Hornets, and Paul has 7 of them. And coming up, of course, Game 2, Suns and Spurs. We look forward to seeing that. Nowitzki fading over Weston. His shot doesn't go in Chandler. Now, things will change for the Hornets. You look at their numbers on the road. Their second best record, on the road, 26-15, but they haven't won in Dallas since back on January 24th, 1998, as Chandler delivers another slam.
If Chris Paul keeps making plays like that, that's going to change as
that's
well.
going to go? That's what Paul said. He goes, forget about we lost 21 in a row, and then coming into this year, we split during the regular season. Look at this.
Again, coming at Dampierre's got it's a nightmare, but weak side's got to pick up Chandler. You know when he runs pick and roll down to the baseline, Chandler's going to the rim. Somebody in the weak side's got to come over and pick him up.
Chandler, 10 points, 10 rebounds, back-to-back double-doubles. Paul just picked up his fifth, but it may be a little bit too late. Dampierre can't.
He missed the bunny. He missed the bunny in there. Same basic play the same way. Kid delivers the ball. Dampierre's got to finish that.
Paul playing with 5 personal fouls, but the lead 110-91 with 6:04 to go. Paul. Here's West. Paul in the lane. Bonzi Wells flips it up with 1 second left in the shot clock.
Paul has such patience. He gets the wide open three outside. He sees Dampierre coming back, and attacks him off the dribble to create a great shot for Bonzi Wells.
15 assists for Chris Paul tonight. Under 6 minutes remaining. Stat count. I mean, when you watch these two teams and you look at the way the Hornets play and the way Dallas has appeared here since midway through game 1 in the corner, this is Kidd. I mean, can there be that dramatic of a difference now going home as we look ahead to game 3?
Well, there certainly can be changes, but I mean, there's going to have to be some kind of change within Dallas and what they're defensively. These numbers, the two guards, like I said, Jason Kidd, he banged down another 3. His numbers have been very good. He has to be more aggressive as a scorer. They've got to get more scoring into their lineup. If they can't defend him, then that's got a way to outscore him.
Paul! Puffs the foul!
I just don't see how you can leave Dampierre out in the middle of nowhere with Chris Paul. You know he can back him up and shoot a medium-range jump shot or get to the rim on him. You got to go double team and get him off that rotation.
Timeout on the floor. 29 points for Chris Paul. He has been sensational. Chris Paul with 30 points after that free throw. 10 of 12, Mike, from the free throw line, and 10 of 16 from the field.
I wonder what Charles and the fellows are going to talk about now.
Yeah, exactly. And three-pointer is good, and a loose ball foul after. With 4:44 to go in the fourth quarter. We welcome you back to New Orleans. Chris Paul had 30 points and 15 assists, and Paul heads to the free throw line in a bonus situation. And so much made about playoff experience and Chris Paul not having it, and Kenny, Charles specifically, talking about Chris Paul lacking that playoff experience.
Well, I think he's setting playoff experience. When you start talking about this in the future, he goes, oh yeah, he did a Chris Paul.
Yeah, he did a Chris Paul. Yeah, we also found out through Chris that Charles has got him in his Fave 5. He said he hears from him all the time.
So those commercials are actually reality. That's
Dwayne
what's really
Wade's
scary.
Got to watch out, because Chris Paul seems to be in the Fave 5.
Oh, you think Charles is cheating on him?
He might be. 117.97 with under 4:30 to go. And what sort of adjustments do you see for Friday night in Game 3? Possibly anything with the lineup as we see Juwan Howard making his way to make voices check in?
Well, I mean, to play the pick and roll, Brandon Bass certainly does a better job playing those pick and rolls than Dampierre. So at some point, you might see them play that quicker and have Dampierre come with that second line group to where you might be able to dominate that. That's one thing you might look at.
New franchise record for three-pointers made in a postseason game with 10 of 18 from downtown. West with 27. Paul has 32 and 16. make it 32 and 17 assists.
He did such a great job there. He had a 3-on-2 break. He had Bonzi running the floor. He had Stojakovic coming for the three. He waited for Stojakovic to get to the three-point line, looked that way, the defender rotated out, and he found Bonzi for the easy layup underneath.
Timeout. 3:35 remaining here in Game 2 of this best-of-7 series, and for the New Orleans Hornets, minutes away from going up 2-0 on the Mavericks. George. It's 122-99 with 3:20 to go. There's also not only a challenge for Avery Johnson, Coach, but also for Byron Scott. Listen, they have lost 21 in a row in Dallas. They haven't won since 1998. Yes, none of these guys were a part of it, but now you head out on the road, and yes, you're going to be up 2-0, and that is certainly the best-of-7 series, as we all know, certainly something that is decisive. However, the challenge now for a young team, Byron Scott, the head coach.
Well, no question. The fact is that all those records exist, but the thing that they've gained from this whole series, these first two games, is they've dominated Dallas. I mean, it's not like these games are close, and when we go to Dallas, it's just going to change. I mean, right now they're getting dominated. Dallas got to figure out what they're going to do when they get home.
Yeah, Hornets just keep doing what they're doing, because what they're doing is a record-setting night here tonight in Game 2, and all smiles for Byron Scott. And the 124 points, they continue to build on that. 67 points in the half. That continues to grow. Field goal shooting percentage, and then 17 assists, an individual best for their player. Muggsy Bogues had 15 assists.
Exactly. I remember that.
125-99 with 2:30 left. Ryan Bowen checks in, steals it, gets it back. Right!
Bowen doing what he does best. He comes in games, gets the extra possessions with steals, offensive rebounds, hustle plays.
Everything has been right tonight for the Hornets. 127-99 in big trouble in Big D. Shot clock down to 7. And Juwan Howard on the floor, and a foul underneath with 2:07 to go. And of course, coming up right after this, the Suns and the Spurs. And you see the look on the faces, and that tells the story tonight. That young man, Brandon Bass, big time off of the bench in 29 minutes, 19 points and 8 rebounds. Really the only help that Nowitzki got. He had 27. Terry did come off of the bench with 16 and started the second half, as Juwan Howard, the veteran out of Michigan, misses the first. Complete replays of Inside the NBA to exclusive interviews with analysis anywhere on the web. Visit TNT Overtime at NBA.com, where you can get TNT NBA Thursday 7 days a week. From the outset, Chris Paul has dominated once again.
Again, his IQ just so good. Created early on the pick and roll plays, making every decision. Stretching the defense when it chased him, keeping his dribble, making the plays to West to get him wide open look, and then when they try to change that up a little bit, getting into the paint and scoring himself.
Josh Howard non-existent tonight. 3 of 10 points. And Kidd, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. It's not enough.
Well, again,
26-point advantage.
Yeah, they got to get much more production out of both of those guys. Josh started out the game. I'm not sure if anything happened with him, but he started out the game going pretty good, and he's got to find it.
And let's send it over to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. EJ? All right, thank you so much. And you don't expect that game to be like this one, 127 to 108. Paul is the 8th player ever to have 30 points or better and 10 or more assists in consecutive playoff games. And here is the list. The Big O, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, John Havlicek, Magic Johnson, Kevin Johnson, and Michael Jordan. Steve Nash was the last to do it in 2005. And Chris Paul, 22 years of age in his 3rd year in the NBA.
But who on that list did it in their first 2 games?
Well, that is certainly the question that we have asked. You see the updated bracket. We will see. He may be. You think he's the first ever?
I'll take that bet right now.
Lakers and Denver, Utah, commanding lead in that series. San Antonio and Phoenix. That's coming up next with Kevin Harlan and Doug Collins. We look forward to that one. And game 1 was a classic. New Orleans now a 2-0 lead here in this best of 7 in the first round of matchup. And if you're the Dallas Mavericks, you go back to last season and you remember your first round exit against the Golden State Warriors. This is a team, the Mavericks, that have lost now, just 49 seconds away from the 8 consecutive playoff road games. And since game 2 of the NBA Finals in 2006, they'll go to 2-10 in playoff games. And you see the series schedule for the Hornets and the Mavericks.
Well, again, the Hornets have got to have so much confidence going into game 3, and the pressure's all on Dallas now. It's all shifted.
Standing ovation, sold-out crowd. Game 2 and well-deserved. And the Mavericks will have possession, slight differential, game clock, shot clock. And for the Mavericks, regather, regroup, and it'll be interesting to see how they come out in game 3 at home, where they were 34-7 during the regular season. But they lose here tonight. Chris Paul, 32 points, 17 assists. The Hornets lead this best of 7 series in their first round of matchup against the 7th seed Dallas Mavericks, 127-103. Stay with TNT following a short break as the NBA playoff coverage continues in San Antonio as the Spurs host the Phoenix Suns in Game 2 action. For Mike Dunleavy, Pam Oliver, our entire crew, I'm Matt Devlin. You're watching the NBA playoffs on TNT, the exclusive home of the Western Conference Finals.